following event is hosted by Ask the Artist. Ask the Artist is an educational project which conducts live interviews and live lessons with popular creative individuals and companies worldwide. To follow our project and to participate in more of our ongoing open live events, please visit our web portal at freeartist.net/asktheartist. You can also support the Ask the Artist project and be rewarded for doing so with special perks or privileges via our Patreon page. Just search for Ask the Artist on patreon.com.
Looks like I need a couple of more frames. Probably mess with the timing a little bit. Decide where my ones should be. And then just to move a little forward, not that this is approved or anything. This is my favorite part. And I don't like to take my time at these moments. I like the spontaneity in animation and even the spontaneity in the workflow, especially if I haven't even shown it to my director, and there's no sense of committing 100% to something that might not even, the director might not even like. And how I work is I work very experimental. It's a process of fixing. I should probably do another one more in should probably animate like a humanoid. So for an example, if, let's say he's gonna strike with his tail. So the way I like going about it is I'll start animating his tail. And this gives me an idea if I want to commit to it or not. I see the anticipation's kind of weak, so I'll probably fix that a little bit more. And I feel the strike can probably be a lot faster. Cool. So now what I'll do is copy and paste his feet to get some indicators. And that's probably like the only copy and pasting that I do. Here I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at. I'm just doing stuff, pretty much having a great time, seeing what happens. Just like Mike Wing said, you take one. Because, sometimes I don't even know what I want, so I'll just put in anything. And then I'll look at it and look at it and look at it and then be like, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. So here, for an example, his body's going back, following his tail. I think it'd be kind of cool if he leaned forward. So let's give this another shot. Okay. That's cool. So I kind of like that. So now what I'll do is I can see his knees coming in. I can see what his head's gonna do. I can see where his arms are gonna be. Okay. All right, let's give this another shot. Cool. I'll do something with the head. I'm not quite sure about this leg. That's all right. Let's see where it goes. All right, let's give that a shot. Right. All right, All right, cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie it down a little bit more and see what I get. And then that should set me up for the arms. Very much like sculpting. Like I like using like my hands first, and before I use a tool, I make sure that the broad strokes are laid down, and that's enough. I don't like being so tight, and I like being really rough and loose. And I might fail here. That's okay. God bless Control Z. I mean, such a cool tool. I don't mind doing it again. I'm not afraid of work. Okay, nice. I really feel the pull too, huh? And now then, you know what I like doing? I like doing like effects, and this would be considered a smear completely. I like doing some small things to just emphasize on impact. I'll draw it right before I even got there. Boom. It feels good. I really enjoy that pull right here. Okay, so I think I know what I'm gonna do with the arms. Let's keep going. Actually, what I will do is, since I like it, I think I'm gonna commit to it, and I'll just clean it up a little bit more. I like animation that has oomph. I'm gonna change the foot right over here. All right, let's deal with that foot right now. Cool. Pretty much I'm using the black pixels for indicators for his heel. Sorry if I'm a little rusty, guys. I haven't animated in pixels in like years. Alright, let's add those arms. Actually, before we add those arms, I gotta do the tail. Let's get that big brush. Alright, I don't think that was too cool. Let's do this again. Alright, let's try that. Boom. Not bad. I just think I'm a little iffy about the top. This top here. There's a jump in the frames. I don't know if I enjoy this that much. Let's fix that. And this is where I get technical. Alright, let's try that. Boom. That feels pretty good. I think the recover can be a lot faster though. Let's see. Let's try that. Needs to be faster. Let's try that. Ooh, that feels good. That ending part is a little funky, but let's keep going. Alright, cool. I like to make sound effects. I learned that from a good friend of mine, Roberto. I used to teach in Uruguay, this university called ORT, and I was taught timing. Um, using like a metronome or tapping your finger on the table, or 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and this really cool animator in Uruguay was telling me, "You want to know how I do it?" And I was like, "Oh, how do you do it, man?" He's like, "I make sound effects." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Check it. Close your eyes." He's like, "If I'm gonna animate a door opening, I'm gonna make the sound effect, and the type of sound effect should tell me what kind of door, the way it should move." And I go, "Oh, okay, let's do it." So I close my eyes, and he goes, "Okay, you ready?" And he's like, "Do you see the timing? Do you see the drawings?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I know exactly what you're talking about." So ever since then, I was like blown away with sound effects. I was like, "Man, this guy's a genius." And I like that idea. So if I ever animate like a walk cycle or a jump, I make the sound effect. In fact, sometimes the directors will ask like, "Hey, can that punch be a little faster?" And I'll ask, "Can you make a sound effect?" And they go, "Shoo." That sounds to me like about 3 frames, 4 frames at the most, with a heavy blur. You know, if the sound of the punch sounds like this, boom, you can tell that's about 12, 14 frames. Since I'm doing this demo, I didn't start off that way, but as I can see that it's making a sound effect. I usually like starting to do my animations with sound effect, so I'll look at him and be like, he needs to go boom, and that sounds like a fast one. With this one, my approach is a little different. I just want to have a good time and and animate. And now that I'm this far along in the animation, I can hear a sound, and it's uh, uh, and it gives me an idea what I should do with the arms, because it doesn't feel violent. The strike feels violent. He just feels very casual, and it has weight. So in my imagination, I see his arms spreading open. So let's give that a shot. I'll use another color. All right, let's do it. Alright, let's give that a shot. Boom. Boom. Alright, let me change those arms. Alright, let's do the other arm. Alright, let's see what happens. Cool. Well, I like what the arms are doing. I just don't like what it's doing in the end of the frames. Nice. So, what happens here next is I'll show my director what I did, and we either take out frames or, adjust a couple of things, and then we'll send it off to get it cleaned up. But in this case, I'm going to be the one doing the cleanup. And so what I like to do here now is I like to do a volume pass. So I'll go in here, I'll get one of these values here, and then this will be like the inside of his arm. All right, let's see what that looks like. Cool. I was looking for something a little bit more dimensional here. Let's see. All right. And what I like about doing this is that it gives me a sense of direction. It makes me feel like the hand's coming at me. And I'll do the same for the body. And please, if anybody wants to see another type of demo in 2D, or please give me a holler. All right, let's see what this looks like. Cool. So it looks like junk. That's all right. The whole point is that I got something now and I can make my edits. So if I'm going to display like he's going to be turning his body sideways, I have to start making that a little clear. And now at these moments, I feel like, okay, I might be messing up my rough. So what I'll do is I'll keep my rough intact. All right, cool. So now I have it intact. Now I can mess it up as much as I need to. And the cleanup process usually takes me like a day or half the day because I do everything from scratch. I rarely copy and paste. Cool, now I'll add the indicator for his arm. And I animate with the mouse. I don't use a stylus. So anyway, this will take me some time to fix and finesse, and so yo, read them to me. Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the chat, so I can't really listen to people's questions. But I have a friend of mine. He's gonna read me a couple of your questions. Sorry if I missed a lot of it. I'm just talking on my own. Go for it.
You guys hear me?
Sorry, just ask me the question.
Oh, okay.
Who's that?
Let's see. Someone asked if you're using a Wacom pen for this.
No, I'm not using a Wacom pen. Who's asking?
Macapixel?
Macapixel? No Macapixel. I don't use a Wacom pen. This is all mouse. I used to, and then when I came into the studio, because I used to outsource, when I came into the studio and I talked to Chris Kurlagon, I was in shock that the guy was using a mouse, and I was like, what? Well, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. And it took me a long time to do it, but then I eventually I learned to do it with the mouse.
Do you find it more comfortable?
Now I do, yeah. Now I find it more comfortable. I feel like I can do anything I want.
So Mike Harvey 42 asks, speaking of using sound for animation, have you done lip sync for games?
Who asked?
Mike Harvey 42.
Mike Harvey 42. If I've done lip sync?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done lip sync for myself, but I have not done it for games. I have not been asked to do it. So yeah, I mean, I'd be excited to do it. That'd be awesome. But no, I have not. And again, sorry if you I didn't mean to ignore anybody or anything. It's just I guess my chat channel isn't really working for me.
Genuinely Artful says that's the kind of technique I get behind. Timing mouth flap seems tricky for the same reason. Talking about using sound for animation.
Yeah, you know, when I was being taught dialogue at CalArts, one of the helpful things that I got from was when you're listening to your track, right, your voice track, that try to draw the picture of the word or the sound, and I thought that was very fascinating. And that's exactly how I feel about animation. If you can make the sound of the action draw the picture. So if it's a shoo, draw the picture. If it's a boom, draw the picture. And that's why in this pixel animation here, when you see a strike, I drew the strike of what I felt it should be, or if it's appropriate. So any more questions?
I'm not sure if you answered this one yet, but Keep Triforce asks, do you need any particular qualifications to be an animator, like college courses?
Who asked?
Keep Triforce.
Keep
Triforce.
Keep Triforce. You know, in my personal opinion, you can learn how to animate on your own. That's my personal opinion. But you will learn a lot faster if you are a part of a group or friends who do it. I mean, at CalArts, I mean, I had a lot of teachers, but I'll be honest with you, I learned a lot from the students, maybe because we didn't know what we were doing, and we were all trying to find out how to do it. You know, we were asking some teachers would say stuff like, "Oh, draw what the characters are feeling." And I get it, but as students, we don't even know. We're not even drawing right. We don't even know if we're in betweening right. We have all these crazy questions, and we weren't afraid, to be vocal about it to ourselves. I mean, we're very afraid of our teachers because we didn't want to. I don't know. We want to make a nice impression of our teachers. We didn't want to make them, make ourselves look like we didn't know anything. But it's all ego stuff. But we'd be up 2 in the morning trying to solve these problems. Like, what's a rough look like? How do we tie down? How do we get this acting across? And you're around people who are after the same answers, you're definitely gonna learn. Um, I wanted to learn about pixel animation. I wanted to be around it. I was very fortunate to be around Chris Kurlagon, who animated super well. Um, and I bugged him. I bugged him every day. I would look at his stuff. I try to decipher it. I would look at Paul. Paul's an excellent animator. Look at his stuff and just see what he's doing with pixels. Is very fascinating. And yeah, but I would say like a lot of these techniques, I picked them up on my own, um, and I'm still learning. I think the best way to learn is to give yourself your own project and try to do the impossible. If you keep doing things for others, it's kind of tough because you're always on that mindset of what do they want? What can I give them? And it's just always better if you work for yourself and try to aim for what you want, and it makes working at work a lot easier.
Megapixel asks, how do you make an attack feel like it has a lot of force behind it?
It's all in the anticipation. That's my opinion, especially for enemies and games. Sorry, who was asking? Macapixel. Okay, so in games, right, the enemies are supposed to anticipate like a lot, so the player can see it coming. So it's the longer the anticipation, the better the strike. I mean, that's my opinion. If like before there's a big boom, there's a large silence, right? But when there's like a fast swoosh, uh just things go a little faster. Sorry if I fumbled on that answer, but just like this one can be a little faster and have more power. So I'll change the timing on that. I mean, because it has the right anticipation. Boom. And I believe there's lots of things. There's lots of factors why this doesn't feel that heavy right now. And it's because of the tail. The tail right now, if you see it, it's tapering. And so here it's like all the same length. I believe if I, fix it up probably a little bit more, it might have a bigger and larger impact. What's the next question?
Alright, Genuinely Artful asks, related more to the industry, but does going to CalArts give more an advantage to new animators? People keep citing it as the place to go, and that's why it's genuinely artful.
Genuinely artful. I'll be honest with you, hardcore honest. It will help you get your foot in the door, yes. I mean, here's an example. When I got the Disney internship at CalArts, I mean, they came to our school and they were looking for college students. Now, mind you, when I went in there weren't just a bunch of CalArts students at Disney's. There were students from all over other colleges, like the Utah College. I think it's called Brigham Young. There was I don't think there was any animation mentor, or was there? I'm not quite sure, but there was a lot. All I know is that it's not just CalArts. I think it's any college, as long as you're involved in a college and you're gonna go get educated and you're around that, you're gonna network and meet a lot of friends. I honestly got this job at Way Forward through a friend. I've gotten a lot of opportunities through friends. I just believe if you go to college and you surround yourself with people who want to do the things that you want to do, your chances are pretty freaking good. So I maybe the question to your answer is, do you have to go to CalArts? No, just go to a school that has a program, or even an online school like Animation Mentor. Be involved in forums and submit your stuff out everywhere so people can see it. And I believe opportunities come.
All right, another animation question. Macapixel asks, are there any sort of animation tricks to pull more out of an attack, such as recoil and or shaking?
Tricks?
Yeah.
If I had it, okay, who's asking this question?
Macapixel?
Macapixel. And what was the question again?
Are there any sort of animation tricks to pull more out of an attack, such as recoil and or shaking?
If I had a trick on attack, it would have to be to change a shape. So here's an example. Okay, so we straight aheaded this whole thing, right? Well, I straight aheaded this whole thing, right? Okay, so to get the most out of a recoil or a strike, to me it's all about visual impact. And this is what I mean. Let's start off right over here. Okay, let's look at the anticipation pose. That's my anticipation pose. This is the actual strike. I would say this would be the settle.